I'm Richard.
And I'm Will.
And together we're
The Irreverent Nerds. Bum, bum, bum.
Nerds!
Nerds, otaku, geeks, and other assorted.
So, didn't you had something you wanted to say at the beginning. Did you remember what it was? You had a way you wanted to open it. It was something you were going to say.
Oh, yes. Richard and I got to the theater, and the lobby was crowded. Everybody came to see Spider-Man.
Which, ironically enough, I was kind of out of it. My brain was like half on what was coming up and other things with family. So I accidentally bought a ticket for Spider-Man.
What? Tonight?
I did, yeah.
Did you get a refund?
Oh, well, no, he didn't charge me extra. I caught it, thankfully. Like, he handed me the ticket stub, and I was like, oh, crap. I'm sorry, man. I meant to buy a ticket for Flash.
I didn't know that happened.
Yeah. So thankfully, he was able to switch it out. They didn't charge me any extra.
Great.
He just had to fix it on the back end. But I was like, I'm sorry, man. That's my fault. But yeah, my brain was somewhere else. Spider-Man came out. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, the lobby was so packed, I was like, shoot, are we even going to get seats?
Oh, really?
We got in there. Well, I mean, actually, the lobby wasn't that packed because the theater holds a lot more people than that, but we got in there, and I was tempted to take a photo just to prove how very few of us were actually there to see the Flash.
Yeah, honestly, it's kind of sad. So hey, guys, I know we don't come here for all of our films. Like, we do go to the Grand sometimes, and like if we need to go on a Monday night, this particular theater isn't open on Monday night. But guys, like in general, if you live in the Piedmont Triad region, especially if you live in Winston-Salem, if you get a chance, like, come and catch a movie every now and then at Marketplace Cinema.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's a great venue. They have the best concession prices and the best ticket prices in town, and it's clean. It's well cared for. So, you know, the sound is good, digital projectors, whole 9 yards, comfortable seats. You know, if you're thinking of it, like if you lived around here and you're thinking of what it used to be like with previous ownership, like 15 years ago when it was like the 250 Cinema, it's a lot better now.
Was that previous ownership?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
I think it was, I could be wrong about that. Either way, they've changed the way, like over the years, they've upgraded it. They upgraded the projectors. They've, you know, and it used to be like you'd have to wait 2 months to
but everything
to see
is
a film. No, it was
instant.
cheaper. It was
Same
cheaper.
day.
You couldn't get it new releases as they came out. Like they would literally, I think, like they would purchase the reels or rent, however that works, the reels from other theaters when they were done with them. Like you would come in sometimes and see stacks of reels sitting out in the lobby. It was kind of cool, actually.
Cool.
But that's the reason it was $250 back then. The ticket's a little more expensive now, but it's still the best prices in town. So yeah.
Yeah, and you're right, it is a lot cleaner, but just in case it was the same management,
yeah,
I'm
either
gonna
way,
try not to joke about it.
whether it's new management, you guys are doing better.
Yeah.
And if you were the same management, you're still doing better. Either way, good job. And it brings back old memories too. 'Cause you and I have been going to this theater for almost as long as we've been friends. Like, I think this is not the first one we went to. I think the first time we ever went to see a movie together was Batman Begins, I believe, 2005. And I think we went to what was then called Winsong 12.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. I see a lot of movies in theaters, so I'm impressed that you remembered our first movie together.
Yeah, you always remember your first time. That was actually the first superhero movie I had ever seen in theaters, too. Like, I didn't grow up going to theaters. The only movie I had seen in theaters, actually, prior to that, was Passion of the Christ. So that was like the first like
special
summer
religious
movie.
permission to go to see Passion of the Christ.
Yeah. We both went to a Christian college at the time that had pretty strict rules about that. And
I've never been to strict. Well, that's not true. But
prior to our time, they didn't let anybody go to the theater. I mean, not. I'm sure people still did.
They didn't want me to see Lord of the Rings because the actor is gay.
Wait, what? Oh,
yeah.
Ian McKellen.
Yeah. And I was like, what does that have to do with anything?
Happy Pride Month, by the way. I know it's subscribers only, so I don't think any of... Well, actually, I don't know. So, either way.
Have a great night.
Our friends in the LGBTQ plus IA plus. I always forget all the letters. LGBTQI. I think they've added some IA plus. Anyway, friends of any orientation, any identity. We don't care where you come from. It's like we love you.
We love you.
Yeah, and not in a weird way. Okay. Because we know you don't know us, so it's not like we're like, hey, I've never met you, but I love you. It's like it's a general love sent out to all humans, and especially our fellow nerds. That's who this podcast is for. Anyway, we spent 5 minutes on that, but we're having fun.
We're having fun. So The Flash.
The Flash, yeah, we just came out of The Flash, not Spider-Man. We already did that review. Yeah. So we're gonna spend the next. We'll give it 4 minutes. The next 4 minutes of this, or we're gonna try to make it as spoiler-free as possible. Just talk about our initial impressions of the film. So, nerd hats off the bat. Let's jump right in. Will, how many nerd hats would you give this out of 5?
4.5.
Okay, high rating.
I don't think it was the best superhero movie ever made, like some critics said it was, but it was good. It was good.
I believe it was James Gunn that said that, which he does have a little bit of an ulterior motive for saying so.
True. This is very true.
Yeah, I mean, you're trying to promote, your studio's film, Although, I think he was still, I can't remember if he was still in negotiations at that point to become the head, or if he was already the head.
I think he was already the head.
I think so too.
Yeah.
So yeah. Although obviously he wasn't responsible for making the film, so
no,
somewhat objective.
Yeah, go see this movie. Never mind who stars in it. Go see this movie. That's what the feeling I'm getting from this is the greatest film. We'll get into that in a second, but.
Yeah, and I wouldn't call it the greatest superhero movie I've ever seen either, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I would go be just a hair lower. I think 4.25 nerd hats out of 5. Like there were a few little quirks and problems with it, but I didn't have that many quibbles. It was thoroughly enjoyable, and pretty solid storyline all the way around. Well acted. Didn't really notice the music that much, with the exception of this isn't really giving anything away because this is in the trailers, I think, anyway. But when they had the reveal of the Bat Cave, but the Michael Keaton Batman 1989 / Batman Returns Bat Cave, obviously another level of visual effects. Now that was pretty freaking awesome, and they brought in some of the old music. It was a variation on that theme. I loved that. That was great. Otherwise, I didn't really notice the music that much, which can be a good thing. Like, if you notice the music too much, but it's bad, you don't want that. So it'd be better to not notice it much, so that it just kind of supports the film, or like John Williams style, where you notice it and it's just epic.
Epic.
You gotta, thread that line somewhere. But yeah, you don't want to notice it too much because it's anachronous to the film. Anyway, so 4.5 for you.
Yeah.
4.25 for me. Let's see. Trying to think of what to say without spoiling too much.
Well,
did you enjoy Michael Keaton's performance?
Oh, I did very much. I'm surprised how much Michael Keaton does not look like Michael Keaton when he has facial hair.
Oh, yeah. So, this isn't really a spoiler, because he's going to show up. But when he does first show up, it's a little bit of a surprise in that he shows up with long hair and a long beard. But then he proceeds to kick, I'm not going to tell you who at this point, because we're still spoiler-free, but kicks someone's ass. In flip-flops. Yeah. So, interesting scene. But yeah, he does show up a little unkempt.
I didn't know that was Michael Keaton when he first showed up. I thought it was a hobo.
Well, I figured that had to be the reveal, but I wasn't expecting it in that way.
This isn't a super spoiler, is it? I hope not.
I don't. I mean, obviously everybody knows from the trailers Michael Keaton's in the film.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think it's that big.
No man, Hobo Keaton.
Obviously, the timeline gets changed. Everyone knows that. This is, the time travel. That's the big part of this movie. That's been known for quite some time. This is the DC's multiverse movie. Everybody else is doing one, so...
Everybody. It's the big thing right now.
Why not? Yeah, but this is obviously inspired by... It doesn't strictly follow, but definitely inspired by the Flashpoint Paradox storyline in the comic books. And there is also an excellent animated film put out by Marvel.
Oh, yeah.
Or Marvel. Where am I at? DC. Which DC doesn't...
You're in one of the spaghetti strands where Marvel
I'm where I was.
Batman.
Yeah, there you go. I'm where I was when I bought the Spider-Man ticket by accident. That's where I'm at. DC, who makes excellent animated films. Honestly, in a lot of ways, their animated films have been better than quite a few of their live-action films, I have to say. They do a really good job with animation.
I'm sorry. Is that fireworks?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, baseball field.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
It's Friday night. Friday night. There's always fireworks on Friday night.
I didn't know this. I've lived here all my life, and I didn't know this.
I guess you don't live close enough to hear them.
No.
Although we can hear them from our house. We are a little bit closer. We're maybe 5 miles. You're probably, 7, 8 miles from downtown. Maybe not that much. I would think you'd be able to hear them occasionally, but anyway.
No, I hear it gets drowned out by the train. Sorry, I derailed your train. Speaking of trains, continue.
Yeah. So, okay, all right. 4 months are up. So, spoiler warning. From here on out, we're not going to try to not spoil it. So, generally favorable. We really enjoyed it. We rate it highly. We recommend it to both of you, both subscribers, if you haven't already seen it.
And future subscribers that will dive deep into our archives.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're paying for it, why not?
Yeah.
Listen through all the bonus episodes and all the subscriber-only episodes.
So, did you want to talk about... I can start. So, Ezra Miller, he made a bunch of mistakes, but we don't believe in boycotting. We don't like the whole boycotting thing, right?
Well, with something, I've given that some thought. Like back when I first
boycotting culture.
I'm not a big fan of like the boycotting cancel culture in general. There are certain things I think where it does apply, but a situation like this, where a film like this has you got thousands of people involved in this movie. Not to mention just the other actors, and. They may have done nothing wrong, and if you boycott it, then you're hurting them.
Yeah.
They're not going to get the kind of residuals that they would. And you might not feel it bad for them. It's like, well, they're famous actors. And it's like, but there's other people too, like smaller, I don't know how many people get residuals, but writers, like right now, which by the way.
Isn't there a strike?
Yeah, stand in solidarity with the WGA, the Writers Guild of America. From what I hear, they're not paid that well,
Yeah.
As many of the actors who have stood in solidarity with them. I saw a video by Colin Farrell the other day just advocating for that, as well as some of the cast of Ted Lasso. Just standing in solidarity, because, we wouldn't have all this awesome stuff if it wasn't for the writers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The writers, and not to mention comic book creators in this instance as well.
The comic book creators have especially... I'm just saying, Warner Brothers Discovery, Marvel, Disney, all these big companies, they make the dough, but the comic creators, the ones making the source material, they're not rich. Some of them are homeless, honestly. Some of the some of the creators that, like, for example, one of the artists that worked on The Flash back in the 70s is homeless now, last I heard.
That's sad.
Yeah, I mean, artists just don't get... The writers and the artists, they don't get paid, the creators, what they should.
And I know our friend Dan Johnson...
I'm an artist, so I'm biased, sorry.
Oh, no.
We're talking about writers right now. But,
well, no, man,
yeah.
I mean, like with comic books, the artists and the writers have to work hand in hand.
Exactly.
It's a very collaborative effort, I mean, as is...
And our good friend Dan Johnson, he's a writer. as you were about to say.
Yeah, it's just from what we've heard, it's hard to make a living doing that. It can be a struggle.
Yeah.
And even if you're in a different medium like novels, I mean, you can face so much rejection before you finally have some success, and like you've got like your everyday working writers and stuff. But so anyway, props to the writers and those that help these stories come to life. Like the actors, I mean, I know some of them can improv and stuff, but I think they would agree, like, they wouldn't have jobs if it wasn't for really good writers. You know what I mean? And certainly not successful jobs like this.
Most of my best comic work has been written by Dan.
There you go. Mr. Dan Johnson. So I forget where we were going with that. That was kind of an aside, but that was something that's been on my mind. Like,
yeah.
Obviously, this movie was already written long before the strike, and probably already in post-production, if not already fully completed before the strike happened. Anyway,
the strike is putting a halt on a lot of things right now.
Yeah. Although obviously COVID did that much more.
True.
A couple years ago.
But we were saying earlier, Ezra Miller, if he's serious about getting help, I'm willing to forgive him.
Yeah, it's like, it does seem like he's at least taken some steps. I mean, I'm not an inside person on the situation, but he's at least taken some steps towards getting help and getting help with his mental health. I did wonder, there was a little quip in the film about him encouraging someone to get help with mental health, and there was a little quip about like how the Justice League wasn't very good at that yet.
I didn't connect that, but yeah, that's ironic and funny now.
It made me wonder, if they had inserted it, but like after he saves, so there's a scene, I think that his first superhero scene, like he gets called in to help by Alfred because Wonder Woman wasn't available and Superman was otherwise occupied. Or Wonder Woman wasn't answering her phone and Superman was otherwise occupied, and Batman was trying to keep a virus from like knocking out all of Gotham or something like that. And so Flash was called in to help Gotham General Hospital from falling into a sinkhole. Like the whole front of the hospital starts collapsing at one point, and on the top floor there's this one nurse with a bunch of babies that were stuck.
That scene was so crazy.
Yeah, it's very obviously CGI, but then how, something like that is like, how could you not? I mean, it's kind of like, well, duh, it's CGI, so it's like, but still pretty epic. Like, so you have like, what is it? Was it 6 or 7 babies falling?
I think it was 9.
Was it 9
but
babies?
I didn't count. I heard it was 9 from somebody else.
Something like that. Multiple babies falling through the air with debris all around as well, and a nurse and a therapy dog falling down. And Flash proceeds to like jump from debris to debris, and then he's like jumping around and like saving the babies. Ultimately gets them all onto like a stretcher.
He puts one baby in a microwave.
To protect her from an explosion, him or her, and then saves the nurse as well. But then the nurse is like, after it all comes out, like she thought she was dead, and then she gets saved, but she's like in shock, so she just screams and then screams again. And Flash is like, I've heard that these experiences are traumatic, so you might want to get some help, get some therapy. Mental health is important. The Justice League's not very good at that yet. But no, that was a pretty epic scene.
I almost feel like the balls they had to even do that scene, I almost feel like it was almost inappropriate.
I know, it was like borderline, like babies falling.
And then they put one in the microwave. I understand it was to save one from an explosion.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, they're obviously CGI babies, but still, it's like, okay.
Well, it's very good CGI because I'm in the film, I'm in belief that what I'm seeing, I'm in this world, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The CGI was good enough that I was not pulled out, except for the dog. The dog was pretty obviously CGI.
Yeah.
But, the dog was hilarious. I loved it. But, yeah, it was in the moment. My belief was that these babies were babies, but you're right; they were just CGI. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, to me, like the most impressive visual effect, which was in a lot of the film, was like how they were able to intertwine Ezra Miller acting with Ezra Miller. I mean, not only is it an impressive acting feat, you know, he does an excellent job playing two different versions of the Flash, of Barry Allen, at two different ages as well. But it was pretty seamless. Like they interacted physically with one another. You know, there's intertwining. Like long gone are the days of like split screens. You know, it's like you just all intermixed, and you could barely tell. Like, you know, it's just that was very seamlessly done. I mean, obviously you knew because Ezra Miller doesn't have a twin somewhere who's also an excellent actor. You know, so you knew it was Ezra Miller doing both. But
oh yeah, I did. But you know, excuse me, they did it so well, man.
Yeah, and including this is where like excellent writing, directing, and obviously acting as well, because he's acting off of. Well, it could be they had someone stand in to do the lines, but like he's acting off of nothing because he can't be like interacting, unless they were just showing him a video of himself with the second go around. I don't know, like some guy with an iPad on his face in a green suit. You know? But I doubt it. Like it may have just been someone in a green suit, you know, and here he is having to pretend to be interacting with himself. But yeah, that was really well done all the way around. To me, like visually, it's probably the most impressive feat. Otherwise, you know, CG was solid. I think probably one of the coolest parts was the reveal of the Batwing.
Oh yeah, that was really cool.
Like you're in the Batcave, it's like coming down from above on chains. You know, it's like, and obviously the hints of the Batman Returns music, and yeah,
just very classic Batcave, very classic Bat vehicles.
That was pretty awesome. Yeah, and then we got to see.
Yeah, I'm seeing that too.
Yeah, sorry, somebody's behind us here. We got to see Michael Keaton. Now, I don't know if it was actually him doing the fighting part. I doubt it. Although you never know. Like, I mean, the dude's probably in his 60s now, at least. So it probably wasn't in the actual fight scenes. But the fighting was intense. So you got to see, like, a Batman fight with your 1989 Batman, which, you know, probably a combination of, like, not having good fight training in that, or just not being a priority, combined with just the suit technology not being that great back then. But yeah, you didn't really get a good fight in the original. This one was much more active, much more intense, quite a bit of fighting with him. So like, yeah, that was pretty cool. But yeah, I kind of doubt it was actually Michael Keaton in the suit at that point. It was probably a stunt double.
True.
But again, you never know. He's in reasonably good shape, so who knows? I'm sure he was in the suit for some of it, but like the more intense fighting scenes, probably not.
Yeah, probably not.
But it was pretty cool, and I'm sure people that are maybe a little older than us, who were like teenagers or older when they saw the first Batman in '89, they were probably having a nerdgasm during scenes like that, I imagine. Speaking of nerdgasms, there were a couple. We're jumping forward in the film a little bit, but there was a sequence, probably about 80-90% of the way through the film, where Will was like going like this. He's like, yes. This was his way, like, yes.
Yeah, I got excited.
Silently, he's like, yes. So, you want to tell us about that one?
Well, you had our Crisis on Infinite Earths moment.
Yeah.
Where we got to see, obviously computer generated, but we got to see Adam West Batman. We got to see.
Oh, wait, I missed that.
You missed that part? Yeah, that was in there too. I guess
it was so fast I missed it.
Yeah, that was in there too with the Laughing Joker.
Oh man, I didn't catch that. But he had George Reeves.
George Reeves.
Superman.
And I don't know if it was an actor or if it was new, but we had a Flash in that one too. Traveling. It was the original Flash with the helmet on, and I can't remember for the life. Jay Garrett. Jay Garrett. I think it's Jay Garrett. I can't remember, but we got to see him. We got to see Christopher Reeves, not just George Reeves Superman, but we got to see Christopher Reeves Superman with the Superwoman or Supergirl. I can't remember. Supergirl, I guess, from the failed Supergirl movie.
Helen Slater. Helen.
I don't remember.
Helen something.
I admit I never saw the failed Supergirl movie. I'm always kind of slightly interested in seeing it, but I've heard it's not good.
Yeah, him and his cousin, Kal-El and Kara, side by side, but Christopher Reeve and I think it's Helen Slater. Something like that. Helen, I'll have to go back and look. But anyway, from the 80s, but that same time period, yeah, it didn't quite take off the way Christopher Reeve and his movies did. But,
oh. Do you want to tell them about the other cameo?
So this is where I had my I don't know if this is where I got vocally excited when I saw this, and had I not known the context, it would have just been weird.
Yeah.
Be like, what? But I knew the context. So in this scene, this epic penultimate scene, where the three Barrys, one from the far distant future, Barry Prime, as you might say, and then Barry from the offshoot universe or whatever, 18-year-old Barry. They're there in the I don't know which we'll call it the time warp bubble or the intersection bubble, whatever you call it. And they're viewing other timelines, and then things are starting to break apart. Kind of like Spider-Man No Way Home-esque. It's the multiverse is breaking apart, and but these other universes are coming in. They're basically, they look like giant planets, like balls or whatnot, and so they're floating in and crashing into one another, and that's where you get the multiple cameos, and then you get one, and I wasn't sure what it was at first.
Oh, I knew.
It's I didn't know right off the bat, but as soon as I saw the big reveal, it was I laugh. I think I laughed out loud, and I was like, "Yes!" I was and I clapped. So you see Superman come in. Obviously, if you've seen this already, you know what's coming. But you see Superman coming in, and he's fighting a giant spider for some reason, and he's got long hair, which disguises his face at first. You don't know, and all of a sudden there's the big reveal, and it's Nick Cage as Superman.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, yes! That was my moment. And again, I knew the context, which Will does as well. And I believe it was, 98? Right around then, there was kind of late 90s, mid to late 90s, there was a movie in development for several years, a Superman movie. And it was going to star Nicolas Cage as Superman.
It was going to be weird and trippy.
And I forget who was going to be directing it. Do you remember?
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that Lois Lane gives birth to Superman or something like that. That's an episode in and of itself. He dies and he gets reborn.
Just imagine,
Unless I'm conflating some other Superman failed movie with this one.
Just imagine, Nick Cage as a long-haired Superman. And it went far enough, I think, like you said, scripts were written, people were attached, and it went far enough that they even did a suit test, which is you can probably find it on YouTube. I forget where I saw it. It was either on a documentary or it might have been on YouTube. But anywhere, I've seen it somewhere where there is an actual test, and so they have not CGI Nick Cage, so they probably got his permission. That would have been great if actual Nick Cage. I mean, they still would have had to do the de-aging thing, but that was hilarious.
They could have had him there.
Yeah,
just briefly.
Yeah, but probably more was either just straight up CGI. It looked more like straight up CGI than a deep fake. So you have the new deep fake technology where they use actual footage of the actor, and AI uses it to create the the illusion, but this looked like more like traditional straight up CGI.
And I think that canceled Superman movie was going to be called Superman Reborn, right?
That sounds right. So this predated Superman Returns with Bryan Singer, and Brandon Routh is one who didn't make an appearance. I guess maybe the only Superman who didn't make an appearance. Well, no, I guess no. Henry Cavill did not, which there's probably contractual issues and all kinds of mess.
Yeah, it's too bad that he quit. What was that name of that show, The Witcher? He quit playing his main character just to come back as Superman, and then they were like, nope, we changed our minds.
Yeah,
that stinks.
Yeah, he got done kind of dirty, and I don't know if James Gunn is going to fix that. If he is, it might not be anytime soon, because I know he's planning not like a sort of reboot, Superman Legacy, but with a much younger Superman. I don't know, maybe he'll come back at some point in another iteration. I would love to see at some point a Black Adam and Superman fight.
That would be cool. So the DC Superverse, the DC multiverse is kind of confusing right now.
Yeah, and the movie, it's okay. So we're gonna jump to the ending. So you got the Nick Cage and stuff in there, but then Barry does his best to fix everything, but then, and this is almost more like a joke, but you never know. You
never know if it'll stick or not.
So towards the very end, Bruce Wayne is pulling up and he's coming to see Barry, and this is after Barry thinks he's fixed everything, and he did alter a little bit, like he fixed it well enough that his dad was exonerated for his mom's murder. His dad had been in prison for his mother's murder because they couldn't corroborate his alibi, which you see that earlier in the film. And Barry does change enough to fix that. And yeah. But then, there's a crowd surrounding Bruce Wayne, and then as they separate, it's George Clooney.
Yep, it's George Clooney.
He's like, wait, what? You're not, are you Bruce? Wait, he's like, are you Batman?
You're not Batman.
And you're not Batman. And he's like, what are you talking about? Hilarious.
So, refresh my memory. Which one was George Clooney in? Batman Returns or Batman and Robin?
Batman and Robin.
Okay, so that one.
To date, the only Batman movie I've never watched all the way through, or the only live-action Batman movie I've never watched. Like, I started it, and as soon as the Bat Skates came out, I've said this before.
Well, that was practically the end of the film.
No, that was...
No?
Okay. Bat Skates, this was like maybe 20 minutes in.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen
Mr. Freeze
this film.
hadn't even popped up yet, I don't think.
I haven't seen this film in a long time.
I'll probably go back and finish it someday, but I cut it off. I'm like, nope, I'm good. This is like...
But they're Bat Skates. They're skates with the word
either
bat
gotta
before it.
You gotta go full Adam West or go home, friends. You can't have it your cake and eat it too. And Schumacher didn't pull either a serious Batman movie and I can say that having only seen 20 minutes of the film, like, he neither pulled that off nor an Adam West version, which I would have been fine with if they could have really pulled it off. George Clooney would not. Well, I don't know. He could have pulled that off, but just tonality, especially following up on, nope. But yeah, so we saw several Batmans. So you say he's the 66. You saw the Adam West, and obviously Batfleck is here. No Christian Bale. Christian Bale doesn't pop up anywhere.
His Superman appeared in the beginning of the film, but we didn't really get to see his face.
Wait, who?
No, not Christian Bale. Batman. I'm sorry. Did we see Christian Bale Batman?
No, he didn't pop up at all.
Okay.
No.
I'm tired. I thought you said something else. I thought you said, we're just rabbit trailing now. What's the name? Henry Cavill. I thought you said Henry Cavill. You say Christian Bale. This is how tired I am.
It is late.
I'm in Spider-Man ticket mode right now.
Yeah.
So, Henry Cavill's Superman did appear in the beginning of the film, but we couldn't see his face.
Did he?
Yeah, on a little newsreel.
Oh, yeah.
That he was saving people from a volcano or something.
Yeah, no, that was like from a distance and CGI, so, there's no face. So yeah, it wasn't Henry Cavill. I mean, but it was his version.
I loved how Gal Gadot appeared as Wonder Woman, though.
Yeah, she pops up and helps to save the day, helps Batman out.
I love her as Wonder Woman. I really hope James Gunn keeps that.
Yeah,
I do. But I heard he's not going to, but I really do.
She is a great Wonder Woman. Yeah. And but yeah, she has the lasso of truth, and Batman is still stuck in it. So he's acting. He likes her. I mean, she already knows that, I'm sure. She's a little old for him, but yeah.
That's okay. He's older now. With a white beard.
Yeah, so he's acting a little goofy, and then he like reveals some sensitive things, and then of course, then Barry gets stuck on it at one point too, and he's like, "I know what sex is, but I haven't experienced it yet." And she's like, "Okay, boys, I'll see you later."
Well, that was kind of like her appearance in Shazam 2. Was just this awkward other superhero pining after her, and it's like the same thing again, right? Just everyone just pines after Wonder Woman.
She's pretty hot. Yep. Can't say I blame him, but not. I mean, she's a pretty badass character, and she flies, which we had not seen her do in any of the. We've seen her jump very far.
I think in one of her... I
hadn't seen her fly, and I was like, wait.
Yeah.
She's flying now?
In one of her solo movies, she, like, lasso swung from lightning bolts or something, but she hadn't flown yet.
Yeah, I was like, okay, well, why didn't she pull that out in the previous movies, in the Justice League films, and, like, all of a sudden she's flying now. Okay.
Well, in the comics and animation, she eventually started flying. I don't know when that changed in the comics. But originally she couldn't fly, then she could. Even Superman couldn't fly in the original comics. He just jumped really far like the Hulk.
Okay, I didn't know that.
But
what was with the cape then? I mean, I guess
it looked good.
Not that you have to have a cape to fly. But.
Well, I think he was based after circus strongmen, and they probably wore a cape for showman, just for show.
Okay.
But I mean, Superman changed to flying pretty soon after his introduction, but Wonder Woman didn't fly for a long time. I don't know how or when that started, but I assumed it was somewhere in the comics.
Oh, I just had a flashback. So Ben Affleck, now this is not a DC property, but Ben Affleck played George Reeves in a murder mystery movie.
Based
on real life, events. But yeah, he even puts on the Superman suit at one point in that. But yeah, he plays the actor George Reeves. I forget the name of the film, but yeah, there was apparently a very high profile murder that happened kind of in connection with his people he knew or something like that. And I cannot remember the name of the film right now, but it was Ben Affleck was in that role.
The Superman Curse? Oh, I'm just guessing.
No, it wasn't the name of the film. No.
Anyway, so Ben Affleck, that means that he's one of the very few actors that have played both Batman and Superman.
Yeah, technically. I mean, ish. Yeah. He's been in a Superman suit. But yeah, close enough.
One of the voice actors from the DC animated films got to play Superman as Batman once. Does that count?
I guess, kind of. Was that Tim Dale?
I think so.
Nice.
I think so. In an episode where Batman goes missing and he pretends to be Batman, so Gotham stays protected.
Ha! That's
but
it's like wait, that punch hurt a little more than usual. Probably had to pull his punches.
He did. Well, that's neat. Ben Affleck played George Reeves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it was not a very well. I mean, apparently this was not a very flattering portion of George Reeves' life, at least as the movie portrayed it. Yeah. Behind the scenes Hollywood gossip. Anyway, so we haven't talked about like the central kind of the heart of the filming, the reason Barry goes back in the first place. I mean, this is pretty well known, I think, especially if you've watched the Flashpoint Paradox,
or the CW Flash, or
like he goes back in time to try and save his mother from being murdered, and that's what starts the whole event off. But he gets a few opportunities along the way to interact with his mom, and I cannot remember the actress's name. I think she was in Y Tu Mama Tambien. She looked familiar. But yeah, so his mom, in this universe, his mom is Hispanic.
I was wondering if she was Hispanic or Italian. I couldn't figure it out.
Hispanic, yeah. She was, like, speaking Spanish, and I know the actresses as well. Like, and I think, I want to say, I don't know if Ezra Miller is half. I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, that was very interesting. I did want to point that out because in past iterations, Nora Allen has never been Hispanic. So that's different.
Yeah.
But I like the person who played the mom, though, Nora.
Yeah, she did a great job. Kind of an emotional center to the film. And at the end, obviously, Barry has to make the choice. Like, he realizes that, what do they call it, a point of intersection, that there's certain things, even in the multiverse, like as it intersects, like there's
fixed points.
Yeah, there's certain fixed points that, no matter how much you try to alter it, they will inevitably happen. And he realizes eventually that his mom's death is one of those, and so he has to undo what he did to try and save her. But he does get a chance in doing so to say goodbye. And even, gets to hug her there at the end. And, but yeah, like that. So it's at once a very cosmic drama, but also a very personal and intimate drama at the same time, this story. So I highly recommend it. Like I said, 4.25 Nerd Hats out of 5. Will gives it 4.5. And it was really good, very enjoyable. Nostalgic as well.
Very good.
Definitely, it made me want to actually go back and watch the first two, Batman and Batman Returns. Like,
those are the ones that count.
Yeah, maybe want to go back and watch those again, and which I've not seen Batman Returns in quite some time. I didn't like it the first time I watched it, actually, but just for nostalgic purposes, I may go back and watch it again. Yeah. Because I love Batman, as any of you who've been listening to us for a while know, and we both like Batman, so Batman comes up quite a bit in this podcast.
Quite a bit,
if you hadn't already guessed, or hadn't already noticed. So, but hey, subscribers, thank you again for subscribing. Thank you for watching / listening to this review. We hope you enjoy it, and until next time.
Sayonara.
Live long and prosper. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm Batman.
He's Batman.
I'm Batman.
He's Batman.
Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the Irreverent Nerds podcast. If you would, consider following us on Instagram. We are there at irreverent_nerds. You can also hit us up on Facebook. Just look us up there at The Irreverent Nerds. That's our fan page. We have a YouTube channel as well. Once again, The Irreverent Nerds. Nice and simple, right? And if you go to www.irreverentnerds.com, that will send you to our Podcasters for Spotify, formerly Anchor.fm, profile, where you can send us a voice message if you want to, support us financially, or listen to the podcast. It will also direct you to other places you can listen, like Spotify, Apple, Google, Stitcher, you name it. So, like, comment, subscribe, follow, all those good things, wherever you find us, wherever you listen to us, we would greatly appreciate it. Until next time, nerds, live long and prosper. Avengers assemble. I'm Batman.